This episode is brought to you by Hasa. Liquid is clearly better. Liquid chlorine is the highest purity, works immediately, has no added cyanuric acid or calcium, and it will leave your pool safe, clean, and clear. And by the Bottom Feeder professional grade battery powered vacuum system. It sucks to clean pools, so cleaning pools sucks less. Get $100 off with code DVB100.
This episode is brought to you by Skimmer, the #1 pool service software in North America. With Skimmer, you can streamline your schedule, grow your revenue, and keep your customers coming back with 5-star service. Whether you're a one-person operation or an established team, Skimmer is your partner in success. Visit getskimmer.com/poolguy to try Skimmer for free for 30 days.
The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show.
Hi, welcome to the Pool Guy Podcast Show. In this episode, I'm going to talk to you about some amazing moments pool care, and you'll kind of get the hang of it once you hear the different things I talk about in here. But these are things that can amaze customers and even amaze yourself out there on your pool route. Are you a pool service pro looking to take your business to the next level? Join the Pool Guy Coaching Program. Get expert advice, business tips, exclusive content, and get direct support. From me, I'm a 35-year veteran in the industry. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, I've got the tools to help you succeed. Learn more at swimmingpoollearning.com. I'll start with this first one here, and this is always something that amazes a customer. Usually this will amaze the customer how fast you can turn the green pool that they've been struggling with and trying to turn around themselves from green to kind of a murky blue. I wouldn't say crystal clear within a couple of days, but you'll get a lot better results than the customer was getting with whatever they were doing. And sometimes a customer will spend upwards of $300 or $400 in chemicals trying to turn this thing around. And it is something that if you've done this correctly, the process is what makes this amazing. And there's 2 different ways you can do the green pool cleanup, depending on your area and what works best for you and the filter type that you're dealing with. In my area, we have mainly cartridge filters and diatomaceous earth filters, or D filters, which is the backwash piston, not the multi-port valve. If you're in an area with sand filters or with D filters that have the multi-port valve where you can vacuum the waste, then you would want to do the floc method of green pool cleanup versus the shock and awe method, which we use here in the West Coast area. For most pools, flocking is using aluminum sulfate to drop everything down to the bottom of the pool. The shock and awe process works really well as you want to raise the chlorine level to an astronomical level to destroy just about everything in the pool, the green algae, the organic stuff that's in there. Everything gets killed, and it has a similar effect. The only reason why we don't do the floc method here is because a lot of times the pool pro doesn't have a way of vacuuming out all of the aluminum sulfate that drops to the bottom of the pool as well. So with the floc method, you're adding about 12 to 15 pounds of aluminum sulfate that drops everything, clumps everything together basically, and drops it down to the bottom of the pool. And you have to have some way of vacuuming this out to waste for it to be effective. And this is why we do the shock and awe method here, because you just have to worry about the dead algae that is at the bottom of the pool and not all the extra stuff to vacuum out. Either way, these methods are highly effective, and the customer has been struggling for a long time trying to clear the pool up. You get back there and you dump in a boatload of chlorine, enough to break, of course, this green pool. You clean the filter. You may even change the filter elements. This is something that really sounds counterintuitive, but if you get to a pool that has a cartridge filter and the pool is green and you want to clear it up quickly, changing that cartridge or the 4 quad cartridges out of that system, putting brand new cartridges in there, really accelerates the green pool cleanup process. And it sounds counterintuitive. Why would you want to put brand new cartridges in a pool that has green water? All of that's going to go into the cartridge filter, get it really dirty, but they clean off really well with the new cartridges. They'll come out pretty much pure white again right away. And this really does accelerate the cleanup. So if you're doing a green pool cleanup, you open up the filter and you see the cartridges are really old, the bands are broken, they look compacted and crushed. Go ahead and change those cartridges out during the process, and you're going to see amazing results. Same thing with a D filter. If you open it up and you see the grids are torn, or they're kind of crushed and broken in there, or they're really stained, changing all 8 grids out during the green pool cleanup process really accelerates things. So if you know the process and you know what you're doing, shocking the pool, cleaning the filter, changing out the elements, or flocking the pool and allowing everything to drop down to the bottom for 2 days. You just leave the system off for 48 hours and then you vacuum out the waste. You're going to have pretty amazing results for the customer, turning that green pool to a murky blue pool where you can actually see the bottom of the pool, and they'll really be amazed. And a lot of times they're going to come on for pool service because they think you're a miracle worker when you do something that dramatic. I know there are still a lot of old school pool guys out there that don't really believe in the vacuum systems, the hammerhead, the riptide, the bottom feeder, and they just clean the pools the way they used to do it. But I'm going to tell you that something that's really amazing is when you actually use a vacuum system for the first time on your pool route. Now, you don't have to have pools that are just totally destroyed by leaf debris, although these help tremendously in those situations. But just everyday usage of the vacuum system makes your life a lot easier, and it does speed up your day out there, and really it gives you that professional tool that you've been missing in your arsenal. I really think that carrying back a 50-foot pool hose and a vacuum head is really an antiquated way of cleaning pools. Really, the vacuum system can do just about everything the manual vacuum can do, up to a point. Of course, the fine dirt can't be taken out with the vacuum system. The smallest micron bag you can usually use is a 60 micron bag, and you're still going to have dirt pass through there. But in all intents and purposes, this is going to really speed up your day out there. And it's also going to come in extremely handy when you have those wind events. It'll take a 3-week process down to 2 weeks or even 1 week in a lot of cases. And it's something that if you've ever tried to get a lot of leaf debris out of the bottom of the pool with just a leaf rake, what happens, you start in the shallow end, you're scooping all the leaves out, you're stirring everything up, then you get to the deep end and you're stirring everything up there. By the time you finish the pool, after 20 minutes, your arms are sore and you really haven't cleaned it completely. And it's one of those things where the most time-consuming part of it is waiting for that debris to settle back down to the bottom. So you can use a leaf rake again to scoop it out of the pool. If you're using, a leaf bagger with the garden hose on there, yes, you will pick up the leaf debris, fairly quickly, but you have to set it up, get it in there, and you have to move really slowly in the pool. But it is faster, I think, and more efficient than just using a leaf rake. But why would you use any of those things when there are vacuum systems out there? And you may say, well, I'm not going to spend, $2,000 on a vacuum system. That's crazy. That's just a lot of money that I can't really afford to have. And the Pool Guy Podcast Show has teamed up with UPA to bring you affordable, reliable liability insurance starting at just $64 a month. Get up to $2 million in coverage, and the members of my coaching group get an even lower rate. Protect your business and your peace of mind. Sign up with UPA today by clicking the link in the podcast description. It's one of those things where if you just do the math, you'll find out that you can easily afford a vacuum system. If you have 60 pools and you raise the rate by $3 on each pool, you probably won't do that, but that's, just an example here. If you just raise it by $3, you're going to get an extra $2,160 a year by just raising those pools fractionally. On the other end of it, you can just save $180 a month. Maybe you cut out going to Starbucks or you bring your own lunch to work. You'll have enough money in 1 year to pay for that vacuum system. So I wouldn't say that it's uneconomical. It's just something that maybe you're thinking about and not wanting to invest in at this time. Once you use one, you're going to realize that the amount of time it saves, first of all, it's 10 times faster than the leaf bagger with the garden hose. You don't stir up the debris when you're moving it from one end to the other like with a leaf rake, so you don't have to wait for it to settle back down. and it does pick up everything on the bottom of the pool, so there's no leftover leaf debris on the bottom for the next week. It's something that truly is amazing once you start using it. Now with the bottom feeder and shrimp cleaner, there's a new revolutionary cartridge filter assembly, and this is a cartridge filter that goes on top the cleaner. It threads on there, and it picks up the fine dirt down to 10 to 20 microns. Basically, it picks up the dirt just like a cartridge filter would, and it's something that I think is revolutionizing these vacuum systems, and it's only available for the bottom feeder and shrimp cleaner currently, and I think it's something that if you, as I mentioned earlier, using a 50-foot hose and a vacuum head to clean the pools with the system is outdated, because you can just get this cartridge filter assembly, put it on your bottom feeder or shrimp, or purchase the bottom feeder and shrimp with the cartridge filter assembly, and then you can vacuum out dirt as well as leaf debris in the pool, and you'll really never have to manually vacuum a pool again, essentially. But I'll say this again, if you haven't purchased a hammerhead, riptide, or bottom feeder or shrimp cleaner, these are professional vacuum systems out there. And by the way, the bottom feeder and shrimp are completely cordless. The riptide and hammerhead have a cord. It's something that once you start using it, the only regret you're going to have is, why didn't I get a vacuum system earlier? It's really the truth of it. If you ask all the pool guys that have them, they're going to tell you the same thing. I should have bought this a long time ago, and I'm kicking myself for not investing in it sooner. I'll touch on these two amazing devices as well. And the first one is the pool skim. And of course, this doesn't look like it's going to work when you look at it. If you go to Amazon and look at the pool skim, you'll think, well, there's no way this thing's going to work effectively. But it is really amazing how effective this device is. Now, there are a few caveats with this device. Number one, the pool has to have 1.5-inch threaded return lines, and typically it needs to have more than one return line to work effectively. The second caveat is that it's pretty ugly in the pool. So if you have, a pool that was built that cost $200,000, and there's a lot of leaf debris, of course, that gets in there, putting this in, the customer may kind of, give you may not be as pleased with it as other people. So for the average pool, putting it in there is not a big deal, and it's something that will allow the pool to be pretty much debris free on top. So if you have a pool where the skimmer basket is totally compacted with debris every week, or if you have two skimmers and they're both full of debris, adding the pool skim is pretty amazing. The before and after, 1 week with it working, is amazing. Basically, it acts as a secondary skimmer outside of the system. It has a floating weir that pulls in debris into a debris bag. And the debris bag probably can hold about two skimmer baskets worth of debris, and it just leaves the pool amazingly clean if it's set up correctly. There's a little bit of setup with it, but once you have the pool skim installed, you're going to see an amazing transformation in the pool that has it on there. The second device you can use for these, really expensive pools where they don't want to put this in the return jet are the solar-powered leaf skimmers. There are several brands out there. I do prefer the Betta brand, Betta. To me, it's a superior solar-powered leaf cleaner or leaf debris cleaner that you put on the surface of the pool. You know what I'm talking about. They are great for cleaning off the leaf debris, very similar to the pool skim actually, and you'll really see a huge dramatic difference in pools that have a lot of leaf debris. I put one of these in a pool that had a really big problem with eucalyptus leaves going into the pool, falling to the bottom, clogging up the suction cleaner, and causing it just a mess in the pool. And I tell you, after 1 week with this in the pool, not only was the skimmer basket pretty much empty, but the bottom of the pool was clean, and the surface was clean as well. Now, yes, a few of the giant twigs kind of got stuck in the front, but it didn't stop the operation of it. And this is something that's really amazing, and it really can transform a pool out there using the solar power leaf skimmers in the pool. And I highly recommend trying one out, especially if the pool has a lot of leaf debris, where again, the skimmer basket is full every week. This will alleviate that, because a lot of times when the skimmer basket gets full, like midweek, the pool's not running well, you start to develop algae, the suction cleaner's not working, it turns into a big mess. But if you just eliminate the surface debris with either the pool skim or one of these solar powered surface cleaners, you'll see an amazing transformation in that pool. The last thing I'll touch on here are what I call chlorine enhancers. And these are any product that's going to make the chlorine much more effective in the pool. And there's a variety of these out there. There's more than what I mentioned here, but I would say that the main ones that you're going to hear about are the Pool RX. You're going to hear about borates to 50 parts per million, and you'll hear about the phosphate and enzyme treatment that you can do. Those are the three main ones that are out there in the industry. There's other ones, like the Remington Solar, Sunshock. You also have the Nature 2 system they can put in line. To some degree, the Frog system is similar to that, but it really is not like the Pool RX or anything. And these are all ways to add something to the pool that enhances the chlorine, makes it much more effective. So for example, the Pool RX will destroy all the microalgae in the pool and prevent algae from growing. The borate to 50 parts per million is an algistat, and algae cells can't form in the pool. So a lot of times the microalgae or algae in the pool is what consumes the chlorine rapidly in the pool. That's why phosphate removers and enzyme, the combination of both of those, work highly effectively as well, and allowing the chlorine to work more effectively because you're eliminating a food source for the algae, and the enzymes are breaking down all the organics in the water. So any enhancer that you pick for your pool route is going to go a long way in making your job easier in preventing algae. And some of the results are simply amazing. I've put a Pool RX in a pool that I've struggled with for a long time, and the next week I get there, the pool looks great. The chlorine's holding perfectly. And the same thing with borates to 50 parts per million. The pool may be giving you a lot of trouble, and this is also great for pools that aren't even giving any trouble. It just makes those pools even easier to maintain. And those pools that give you trouble, when I added the borates to the pool just looks spectacular the following week. So the enhancers can give you amazing results, and I recommend picking one, maybe picking a combination of two, and then going forward and using them on your pool route, and you're going to see really amazing results with these chlorine enhancers out there. If you're looking for other podcasts, you can find those by going to my website, swimmingprolearning.com. On the banner, click on the podcast icon, and there'll be a drop-down menu with over 1,900 podcasts for you there. And if you're interested in the coaching program, you can learn more at poolguycoaching.com. Thanks for listening to this podcast. Have a great rest of your week, and God bless. This episode is brought to you by HASA, providing products that deliver clean, healthy water for every aspect of everyday life. The bottom feeder battery-powered vacuum system, portable, powerful, and only weighs 12 pounds. And Skimmer. Get Skimmer, America's #1 pool service software. Podcast listeners can try Skimmer for free at getskimmer.com/poolguy.